What's up, everybody? Enosh here, and today we are talking about Aquaman and the new trailer that's coming out during Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con this year. So Aquaman, let's talk about Aquaman for a second. You know, I remember the mid-90s when this whole idea of Aquaman kind of being a joke. I remember growing up, I never thought of Aquaman as a joke. I mean, he talked to fish. That's what he did. He talked to sea creatures and was king of Atlantis. He was king of the sea. And so I never really felt a negative thing about him. But I remember watching a comedy skit from a show on MTV called The State, which was a great show, and a lot of the people from that show have gone on to do a lot of other stuff. Reno 911, and they've been in all kinds of stuff ever since, and you recognize them all over the place. But they were a comedy troupe called The State, and I remember they did a skit where Superman's like the Super Friends, and Superman says, you know, hey, Batman, Robin, you go do this. Flash, you run across the world to do this. Wonder Woman, you know, you take off, do this. I'll go fight this guy. And they totally leave Aquaman out of it, and they start to walk away. And then Aquaman says, hey, what will I do? And they all stop and they look back, and Superman says, how about you go talk to some fish? And they all bust out laughing. And I remember thinking that was funny. And I was a teenager at the time, and that was the first time it hit me that, like, Aquaman is kind of lame. And ever since then, we've heard nothing but that. I mean, there's always these Aquaman jokes, or has been, and you know, about him talking to fish, and that's his superpower, and what kind of superpower is that? But in the comics, Aquaman, I'll tell you what, he's a bad dude. I mean, the guy, you know, he grew his hair out, got a beard, got his hand cut off. He had a hook for a hand for the longest time. Then he had kind of like this water hand that could shapeshift and do all kinds of stuff. And so in the comics, Aquaman has been one bad dude. But in media, it seems like we've kind of lost that. And that's why I was really excited when Jason Momoa was cast as Aquaman for the DCEU. And so I thought personally in Justice League, I know there's a lot of controversy about Justice League, you know, do we like it, do we not like it, whatever. Personally, I like it. I see that there are some flaws in it here and there, but overall, it was a really good movie, and I really dug it. And so, sorry, you know, sorry, not sorry, because I dig the DCEU, as anybody who watches the channel knows. But Aquaman has been cool. And I think that that's what's great about Jason Momoa, is that he has taken a character that kind of publicly in the media has been joked about, teased, and gone through this whole thing. And they really, I think, captured the essence of what Aquaman could be. He's exotic looking, you know, which when I think Atlantis, I think of something exotic and different, and not, I always thought Aquaman was weird. That it was weird that he was, you know, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. But man, Jason Momoa just captures just something that when you look at him, you just want to see what he's doing next. You know, you want to see what he's about, and as Aquaman. And so we got a little taste of that in the Justice League movie, and now it looks like we're gonna get a full-on, just amazing movie with Aquaman. And that's what I'm hoping for. We got our first glimpse this last week of what Black Manta looks like. Now, Black Manta is not the main villain in this movie, but he will be in the movie. And I believe from reports that we've been seeing that later, they're setting him up for later on, because Black Manta is kind of Aquaman's, you know, main nemesis. I mean, I remember watching Super Friends, and Black Manta was the man. But, you know, yeah, so they're setting that up. Now, Ocean Master is the villain for this movie. Excuse me, but I'm really stoked to see how they do this movie. I think that this movie is going to set a new bar for special effects, given the fact that it's underwater, and how that's going to work. You know, I mean, they got to talk underwater. They said they're not really going to just use those bubble things. I thought that was pretty cool in Justice League, where they use the bubble and they're able to come into the bubble and talk and stuff. But like, what will they use? I don't know, man. It's going to be cool to see how that underwater world comes to life. And we will get our first sneak peek at it in the new trailer coming out at San Diego Comic-Con. And I just can't wait. I'm really excited and looking forward to this. And I never thought that I would say that I'd be excited about an Aquaman movie, but I am. All right, so I would like to know about you. What do you think about the Aquaman movie coming out? Are you excited about Aquaman? Do you see that this could be like a turning point for the DCEU for those people who are naysayers and aren't really into the DCEU? Or, you know, do you just think that this is going to stink and you just don't like it and you're just not going to like anything DCEU? Hey, we're here for everybody, all right? And so I would like to hear from you. Please leave your comment down in the comment section. Let me know how excited you are for the new Aquaman trailer and what's going to happen. And what are some of your ideas and thoughts of what you would like to see in the Aquaman trailer? I would eventually like to see, you know, there's a scene in Man of Steel where they said they were originally going to introduce Aquaman where they're on the oil rig and Clark saves a bunch of people and stuff, and he's in the water with the whale and all that stuff, and they said that was Aquaman who sent those. I would love to see some little flashback maybe or something. That would be super cool. No pun intended, but that'd be cool to see something like that. What do you think? What are your comments? What do you think about the new movie? What do you think about the DCEU and where it's going? And you know, can we move on? I mean, we had a good movie in Wonder Woman, but you know, and for those of you who didn't like Justice League was already in the can before all that, before this new direction. Now we have a new leader of the DCEU. I think it's Jim Lee is in charge now, and so we got new people in charge of Warner Brothers. And there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen. And I know there's some naysayers out there. You're just going to say DCEU is ruined. Can't fix it. Nothing redeemable about it. And I disagree with that because I think there's a lot of good in the DCEU. It's just bringing all that to the top, getting rid of the fluff, getting rid of the stuff that doesn't matter, writing good movies with no interruption from Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers needs to stop interrupting, and fans also need to just stop with the junk. I mean, I'm going to do another video at some point about fan interference because it's ridiculous. People don't know what they want from these movies anymore. I mean, you know, just a couple years ago, everybody was calling for Zack Snyder's head, saying, "Oh, get Zack Snyder out of there. He's ruining the DCEU. We don't want him in there. We hate everything that he does. We hate Man of Steel. We hate Batman versus Superman. Justice League's gonna suck. It's all horrible." And then Justice League comes out. I mean, so they go and get Joss Whedon to finish Justice League. And then what happens? Then everybody all of a sudden turns on Joss Whedon. And they're like, Joss Whedon is horrible. He ruined this movie. You know, we got to get the Snyder cut. We got to get the Zack Snyder cut. Get Zack back. Let him finish his movie because that's what we want to see. He had a plan and a thing. And I agree with that he had a plan and a purpose for the whole thing that would have been a great story arc if we had just been able to see it. But I find it weird that like everybody now is clamoring for the Snyder cut when everybody wanted him fired. They wanted his head on a stake just a couple years ago, and now all of a sudden they just love him and they want his version of Justice League. Which there's also reports that we may end up getting that. Who knows? You know, AT&T is buying or has bought, I think, Warner Brothers, and so now there's talk that AT&T may there may be this Snyder cut. Now it's been there isn't, there is. Who knows? But hey, we are definitely getting Aquaman, and so. Like I said, leave your comment down in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe because we love you on this channel. That's right, we love you on this channel. And this channel is all for you. It's all about stuff that we love. It's about comics. It's about movies. It's about TV shows. It's about music. It's about cool stuff like that. And I want you in on the conversation, all right? I want to hear what you have to say. Let's talk about it, all right? And if you guys have an idea for a video, hey, leave me a message and let me know because I'd be happy to do that, all right? Until next time, I'm Enosh. Hey man, Wonder Twin powers, activate.